This is part 2 of my Fighting Vipers guide. I'll be covering specific mechanics of the second game. If you want to know the basics, look here. I cover stuff shared by both games in the series. Now for the game I kinda created this guide for in the first place. So let's start on the elements that both Vipers share, and see how 2 changes them up. The small stuff. First of all, the game feels just as frantic as the first game, which is good. Stuff like jumps and airtime feel faster than the first game. Comboing in general feels easier to do. The throw animation oddity is gone. It actually functions as a throw, and not a strike when whiffed. The animation itself is also quicker. Now it takes 10 frames for the throw execution. Holding forward while far away enough puts you in a run automatically. Moving backwards is a lot faster. You can hold the guard button then move forward and back like a normal fighting game shuffle. FV2 has crumple states and more staggers from certain moves, which you can use to capitalize on the opponent for more combos. Virtua Fighter 4 would use it in a similar manner in 2001. It was in development at this point, so I guess AM2 had a bunch of ideas to share around. Now for the new mechanics. Mechanics you would know nothing about unless you looked it up online. Tech guards are a special guard that stops your opponent's strikes altogether. They're basically parries, just defense, instant blocking, or whatever similar. To perform them, you press P, K, and G all together as you're about to get hit. Very good for interrupting strings altogether if you got the timing down. Slows down the opponent for a bit. You could do them while crouching as well for low attacks, but you can't do them in the air. Like I said, it pretty much cancels their offense altogether, so you can't do any moment 37 tomfoolery.
Oh! No! Bro! What?
Still a useful technique though. They're especially useful for strings that aren't natural combos. There are a few things you could do after tech guarding, like sidestepping, by quickly pressing up plus PKG, or PKG by itself. But personally, I prefer sidestepping to be more traditional, I guess. I'll even take the E button. Even Sonic the Fighters has a normal sidestep, and that's Fighting Vipers for babies. After a tech guard, press P or K to blow the opponent away. Some characters have counters that aim low. Tech rolls have been added. They pretty much work the same as other 3D fighters in the modern day. You get set off the ground, then press a command, all 3 buttons in this case, before you fall or as you fall. Then you get right back up to soften your fall. Not many 3D fighters had this at the time. Tekken 3 a year earlier introduced the concept first, but only when you fall on your back. You can Tekken roll back, roll in the foreground, background, or on a spot. Tekken on a spot makes you the most vulnerable, I feel. And of course, Tekken back can help you avoid pursuits, or pounces I guess, unless you roll back against a wall. It helps keep the pace going. Throw escapes have been added in the series, though VF has had them for a while, even before the first Fighting Vipers. But the way they're done here is a bit unique, I guess. Say you're gonna get caught by a certain throw, so you quickly press a certain command or more. With the opposite input, with the opposite input direction as the opponent within 13 frames. But then you break out into this sort of tug of war to see who enters their command input faster. With these certain inputs, you can cancel it out with the regular throw input. You cannot escape air throws. You can also put multiple throw inputs during those 13 frames. Realistically, you can just input the common throws your opponent is doing. This is called the IREGIU throw escape. But it's basically multi-throw escape courtesy of VF4. Super KO, an odd new mechanic, which is kind of pointless and useless, but also kind of a busted comeback mechanic at the same time. Good for an unexpected laugh, I guess. Remember how you can get all your armor broken? See that blue body next to your health bar? That means you can Super KO. To do the special attack itself, you press forward plus all 3 buttons at the same time. The armor remove also counts as a Super KO. How busted is it? If you get a clean hit as a finisher, you win 2 rounds. How useless is it? The Super KOs have really slow startup that can be blocked. And anything, and I mean anything, can stop it. Not to mention, you only get 1 shot to do them. Plus, the attack itself does fuck all damage. You just gotta be super precise on how to position yourself. Thankfully, you could turn them off in the settings for the Dreamcast version. And for the arcade version, the test menu. Also, one of Big Mauler's super moves is a Super KO. Why? I don't know. Final boss bullshit, I guess.
Let the action begin. Go! Where's my bass at? Oh yeah!
Personally, I like the second game more than the first. Super KO and all. I don't know. It just feels smoother to me. And I feel it's a little bit more balanced, kind of. I mean, it's not balanced. It's not that balanced, but pretty much all the secret characters will attest to that. As well as Mauler. But it's an attempt. It's not like I wouldn't play it if it wasn't balanced, as long as the base game is cool enough. Now for where to play Fighting Vipers 2. Only 2 versions to pick from. the arcade version, good luck finding a machine IRL, and the Dreamcast version, good luck finding one under 20 bucks. Of course, Model 3 emulators have gotten good enough to play with a decent machine, albeit with some visual oddities. The Dreamcast version is pretty much playable on pretty much every relevant Dreamcast emulator. Sadly, compared to the Saturn version of FV1, Dreamcast FV2 is pretty goddamn bare. But thankfully the main game is intact for the most part, and the graphical downgrades are slight. For online play, Flycast Dojo has had rollback netcode for a while, and it's also on Fightcade, with Fighting Vipers 2 on Dreamcast as one of the games playable. And I have played on it a few times. It's pretty damn good. Nobody plays it nowadays, but it works great. As to where to train, Fighting Vipers 2 on Dreamcast is a pretty terrible training mode. No move list to look at, plus you can't set dummies to do whatever you want. Only what difficulty the CPU can attack you with. But thankfully, Flycast Dojo's training tools can fix a lot of these problems. You can switch players, record inputs, replay inputs, loop inputs. You can do a lot of stuff with save states if you're testing stuff out in multiplayer. There's a video that goes more into detail with this kind of stuff, with VF3 as an example. Though, the video is kinda old at this point, and Flycast Dojo's tools have gotten sharper since. Welp, that's part 2 done and over with. I'm gonna be working on moveless videos for a bit, in a Muzumi wiki when I have the time. And since FV2 has no such command list in game, I thought I'd have that game as my main priority for now. It also gives me the opportunity to collect frame data through footage. So why am I doing all this? Why am I making these videos? Because I think this game is cool and more people should play it. Also Discord.